Hello everyone. Today we're going to have a stronger focus on all 7 movements of the spine, and also spreading that focus into warming up and moving the body as an entire unit. So it's a wonderful way to start your day if you're going to have a long walk, or you're going to be doing gardening or cycling, or really any stronger activity. Okay, so I invite you to come into the most comfortable position that your body can manage. And for me today, that's in a kneeling position, and just assess. It changes sometimes day by day. What's the most comfortable centering position? So take a moment and find that for yourself. And just lower your eyes when you've done that, and think about the imaginary line from the pelvic floor all the way to the crown of the head. And just take a couple of breaths to extend and lengthen that line. Release any tension in your shoulders. Soften your face. And just arrive fully mind and body for your practice today. And then notice that your breaths are becoming longer and slower, and just encourage that to happen more and more. Just nudge yourself back into the last week's breath practice, where you're exhaling and releasing fully on the exhale. At the conclusion of that exhale, you feel those shoulders and upper arms moving back just slightly in space, so that when you inhale, you can imagine that those upper arms are pressing into an imaginary doorway on either side of you. And then again, on the exhale, just letting go, releasing the shoulder area. And at the conclusion of that exhale, again, the shoulders move back slightly in space, where you feel the shoulder blades behind you moving a little bit closer together. And from that position on the inhale, you start to expand outward. So you feel that, of course, the upper arms pressing against that imaginary surface, but it has the function of even widening through the upper chest and collarbones. So just envision that widening in the whole of your chest area as you inhale. And just releasing completely as you exhale. Feel the softness in your shoulders and neck. And then draw the shoulder blades a little bit closer together at the conclusion of that exhale. Preparing for the new fresh breath, where you're expanding as much as you can with that next inhale. And letting go as you exhale. Draw in the shoulder blades a little bit closer together behind you. And another really full, broad inhale. Letting go as you exhale. So last one like this with direction. So you're releasing as you exhale, and then the shoulder blades nudge a little closer together. And then you can inhale in the right position, where the upper arms are just pressing into an imaginary surface on either side. Taking up lots of space. And then releasing on your exhale. And throughout your practice today, you're just going to imagine those breaths every time your attention wanders from the breath. When you realize that, you're bringing it back to those really full inhales and exhales. Putting the hands right to the heart. Namaste. From this position, just allow the arms to come to the sides of the body. And as you inhale, you're raising the arms up. reaching up as high as you can. As you exhale, you let the right fingertips come to the floor. As you inhale next, reach up a little higher with the left arm and bring it right over into a pure side bend. Feeling the left side body stretch. And as you exhale with a nice firm abdominal contraction, you're lifting up and releasing the left arm to the floor. Inhaling, reaching the right arm up and reach up just a little higher when you get to the top. Exhaling, coming into a side bend. Looking up if you can. And on an exhale, nice firm abdominal contraction. You're releasing up and out of that. One more time on either side. Just make it really thorough here. As you're inhaling, you're reaching up, getting really, really long. As you exhale, you're coming into a side bend, looking up towards your elbow or towards the ceiling. And then it's on an exhale that you're releasing. And you do that so you can hold firm in your abdominal core. Last one, as you inhale, reach the right arm up. You let the left fingertips be a little bit of a brace. Remember, reaching up really high, and as you exhale, coming in to the side bend. And it's on an exhale that you're going to release it. When both hands get to the floor, you're going to inhale really tall and just simply exhale now into a twist. So you're just pivoting over and letting the back hand rather be a brace. The front arm is holding on somewhere to your thigh or knee. And just open into the twist as much as feels good to you right now. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Next inhale, you're getting really tall again so that you can exhale to the other side. And just find whatever twist your body wants to do right now and just be with it for just a couple of breaths. And then releasing on the inhale. And from here now, let's go ahead and come to the floor. We'll only be to the floor for just a few minutes today. Coming back slowly and carefully to your back with nice engaged core. Any little movement you'd like when you get there. And then prepare for a full frontal stretch. So you want to stretch the arms out and the legs out and bring the arms up over your head. You might want to bring both thumbs down. It can have the effect of just holding the arms in just where they need to go. You don't have to do that, but it sometimes is the perfect position for some of us. So just try. As you inhale next, I want you to lengthen as much as you can from the midline in either direction, just as long as you can. And when you exhale, stay in the position of the full frontal stretch, but just allow a little letting go so that you feel a little drawing in right around the waistline, right around the core, and right around the solar plexus. It just sort of sucks in just a little bit. And then when you inhale again, really stretch out. Make your spine just as long as you can, and even imagine the vertebra getting more and more space between each and every one. And then release slightly as you exhale. Feeling that little concave area right in the front of the midline of the body. And as long as your arms are comfortable and you can remain in this position, we're going to come into a banana shape now. So walk your feet, legs over to the left, and then also the arms over to the left. If you'd like, you can clasp the left arm with your right hand, and then go ahead and cross your left leg over the right. So you just give a little anchoring to this little side twist. And then just be here for a couple breaths. Let yourself get nice and heavy. And just feel the tiny little challenge in the right side body as it attempts to let go. after 2 or 3 breaths, you can release and come back to center. Have another little stretch. And then, of course, we're going to walk over to the left with the legs and walk over to the left with our arms. Very good. And just let the right hand clasp the left wrist, and the right leg can cross over the left. And again, same position, different side, but your challenge is to release the weight of your body to the floor in this position as much as you can. Just let it go on the next exhale. Feel any little subtle shifts in the body. One more long, slow breath like that. Very good. Then let's release. And coming back to center, can you have one more really big stretch in you? Try it. And then as you exhale, lower the arms. Oh, your shoulders will feel that. And let's raise the knees in towards the chest. And just clasp those thighs as close into the body. You might need to separate the thighs a little bit. And just get a little counter stretch here as you bring both thighs in towards the body. You can let your breath exaggerate the movement a little bit. As you inhale, thighs can come away. As you exhale, they can come in a little bit closer. Nice long slow breaths. As you inhale, it comes away. And as you exhale, they go just a little bit closer. Really feel that core engage as you exhale. Rounding the back as much as it wants to round. And then the next time you inhale and the thighs come away a little bit, just let them separate and go ahead and rock a little bit side to side. Nice long full breaths. Don't forget to breathe. Just keep coming back to those breaths. And then let yourself come to stillness when you're ready. Cross the ankles, and can you roll on the spine? And if it doesn't suit you, remember you can always just roll over to the side if that feels best. And we're all going to come into tabletop position from here. And just rather set yourself up so that the hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. In neutral tabletop, as you exhale, release those hips back towards the heels. Elbows can touch the floor. Just total release as you exhale. When you inhale, you're pushing into the tops of your shins and ankles, coming back to the starting position, little lift in your heart. As you exhale, hips come back towards the heels. Release your neck, release your low back. And inhale, coming back to the starting position. You've got that little rise in your heart. As you exhale this time, you're coming into the side bend so that the basically shoulders and hips on the right are coming closer together into that C shape. As you inhale back to center, little rise in the heart. As you exhale, you're going over to the left with the little C shape. And inhaling to the center, looking forward. Exhaling, reaching, or rather surrendering hips back towards the heels, elbows touching the floor. Just let the neck relax. Inhaling, coming back up, rising in the heart, looking up a little bit. As you exhale, little C side bend to the right. Inhaling to center, and little side bend to the left. Back to center on your inhale, and exhale, releasing down to the floor. Be sure to have that moment where your low back relaxes. You feel that. Your neck relaxes. You feel that. And then inhale, come on back up. Last one. As you exhale, side bending to the right. Inhaling to center, lifting the heart. And exhaling over to the left side. And inhaling to center. Releasing just a little bit back to the tabletop position, looking right down between the hands. Sending the hands one hand length further ahead. Find the position where the weight is distributed along the roots of your fingers and towards your inner hands. Flex the toes under, push the floor away as you come into your downward facing dog. Yeah, just do anything that feels good right now in your downward facing dog. I always like to sort of walk on the spot. As you're doing that, try to keep your hands anchored as they are, and don't come with the weight into the shoulders. Just do purely in your hips and legs if you can. Now just invite you any little further movements, any further stretches. Also, you might like to come up onto the balls of the feet, onto the tippy toes, a little bend in the knees, and just move however you'd like to, back and forth, in and out of classic downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog now, we're going to come into plank on an inhale. Remember everything you know about plank. As you come in slowly, your core is engaging. Your upper arms are isometrically coming towards each other, and you've got that integration in the arm and shoulder bones. Thighs are strong. And when you're ready to let go, all you have to do is put your knees to the floor and just allow the chest to slowly come to the floor, using your arm strength to set the body gently to the floor. Let your forehead come to the floor and let your arms come out to the sides for this. So little airplane arms. Maybe sashay your hips back and forth just a little bit. Make sure it's comfortable. And as you inhale next, just first feel your pubic bone and tailbone nice and heavy, sort of pointing and grounding towards the floor. Let that happen. But then as you inhale, you're just starting to lift your forehead, lift your nose, lift your arms and chest, and really reach out as far as you can, left to right. You can hold it for a breath if that's sustainable for you. And then let's release as you exhale, back to the floor again. And then again, as you inhale, you're just looking forward. As the shoulders and chest lifts off the floor, the arms lift and you really reach as wide as you can, left to right. And then release down. Let the neck relax for just that breath. And if you can, we can try that again. So make sure everything feels okay. Remember, the pubic bone is nice and rooted to the floor. You're really working more in the upper and mid back. So as you lift your head, lift your chest, lift your arms, and then remember to reach really far left to right with the arms. Arms are really reaching, fingertips are reaching, and you just lift the chest as high as you can. And then let's release down. And just to try that at a slightly different angle, bring your arms to the sides of the body, thumbs down, palms are pointing towards the thighs. So that as you inhale next, remember the pubic bone is still rooted to the floor, nice and heavy, tailbone's heavy. But as you begin to slowly lift your head, lift your chest, lift your arms straight back, and just keep reaching back with the arms. You only lift your chest as high as is comfortable and hold it maybe for a breath or two, and then release down. Next inhale, just go through that little sequence in your mind. You're just lifting the gaze, lifting your nose, lifting the chest, and then lifting the arms and reaching back. Pubic bones rooted to the floor, and you try to use the muscles right around your upper back and shoulder blades. And then release. Now, if you have one more sequence in you, let's do that. Otherwise, you can just stay resting and prone. So if you're coming with me on the inhale, you just lift your forehead, lift your gaze, lift the chest, lift the arms, and reach back. Trying to lift the chest as much as is accessible to you without getting your low back too involved. And then let's release, arms down. And just be in the prone position for a breath or two. And then we're going to just transition into pose of a child, using the arm strength to make that transition and the core strength. Come into any version of pose of a child that you'd like to do. Often after we do back bends, it's actually nice not to actually use the double fist first. Even if you know you can put your forehead on the floor, you might want to just do the fists first and let your low back release for a breath or two before you go a little lower with the forehead. And the objective is to also turn your awareness so full on that you feel the little nuances just in these tiny little transitions. So eventually you might be able to get your forehead to the floor, but you have not missed anything in sensation. So you've noticed all of it. And then from your pose of a child, we're all going to make our way to standing, and just take your time with this and really be mindful and enjoy the varying sensations just as you transition from pose of a child all the way up to your standing position. So as we've all come to standing, I want you just to find your best Tadasana. Remember, all that means is you're really firmly rooted through your feet, and your feet are no more than a sitz bone width apart from each other. Just feel that firm anchoring to the floor, and you will be able to notice the lengthening in the spine against that downward pressure of your feet. Just give yourself a moment to feel that length. Just lower your eyes and have a 6 count inhale and a 6 count exhale. If your shoulders are feeling tense, just consciously and mindfully release tension in your shoulders, creating a little more space between shoulders and ears. And then retaining all of Tadasana, we're going to introduce just a little movement as you turn the palms outward. You're inhaling, breathing the arms up. Feel the length through the torso as you reach up, and the rootedness of your feet to the floor. As you exhale, just release softly the arms back to the sides of the body. And again, as you inhale, breathe up, pressing into the feet a little bit more. And as you exhale, releasing the arms down. And then again, inhaling, reaching the arms up. And this time as you exhale, you're going to bend the knees and turn from the navel up towards the right, arms front to back. And inhale, reaching the arms overhead and turning back to center again. As you exhale, you're coming right back, or over to the left rather. From the navel up, little twist. Inhaling the arms up and exhaling the arms back down to the sides of the body. And 2 more times like that. As you inhale, you reach the arms up over the head, find that length first. As you exhale, a little bend in the knees and turn the body to the right. You're really reaching front to back as broad as you can with your fingertips. And then inhaling, coming back to center, arms overhead, navel to the front. As you exhale, turning towards the left and reaching nice and long with either fingertip. Inhaling, reaching back up, and exhaling, releasing. And start to feel the effects that these little movements are having in the body. As you inhale, reach up, feel the length. As you exhale, turning towards the right, reaching really far with each hand and fingertip. And inhaling, reaching up. And exhaling, reaching over to the left, or rather twisting to the left and then reaching really wide with either arm. And inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, release the arms to the sides of the body. Very good. And from here, find your hip points, or hip joints rather, right, the crease right at the top. As you inhale, get really tall as you press lightly into that crease. As you exhale, keeping length in the spine, just let your hands slide down your legs as you bend the knees. Come into a forward bend. The whole time you're sliding the hands down your legs. Maybe your hands can get to the tops of the feet or to the ankles, and just see if that works for you. And then when you inhale, just lift your heart, lift your gaze, and really root into the hands. If you need to rise your hands up more to the calves, or rather to the shins, you do that, lifting your heart really strong in the back body, and then exhale, releasing back down. Feel heaviness in the feet and a little firmness in your abdominal core as you release down. As you inhale, you're lifting the heart. You're either really reaching or grasping with your hands on the tops of the feet or ankles, or you may have to lift those hands up a little bit just so you can have a nice flat back. Incorporate those upper back muscles to help your heart and head lift. And then exhale, slide back down again. Make sure the feet are really anchored to the floor. Release your head and neck. And then one last time as you inhale, breathe the chest and heart lifting. Exhale, release all the way down. Feel the abdominal core engagement. And then a little bend in the knee, pressing into the feet, bringing the arms up and out to the sides. You're going to breathe up. And then exhale, release the arms right down. And coming to the very tops of your mat now, have a little separation in your feet so they're a little wider than sits bone, maybe to the outside of your hips, and then step back nice and wide, or long rather, with your right leg. So left leg is in front, right leg is back. Just have a little check to make sure your hip points are pointing forward. Release your arms. On your next inhale, reach the arms right out to chest height. From here, on your next inhale, bring the left arm straight up, pointing right up towards the ceiling, and feel your back foot really rooted down. As you exhale, continue moving that left arm back and maybe gaze behind yourself. As you inhale, nice big circle, the arm is coming down and up, all the way back up to pointing to the ceiling, and reach up with the hand, reach up with the crown of the head, and reach down with that right heel. As you exhale, open up. Just feel the challenge in this twist and look behind yourself. As you inhale, sweep the arm down, up, right over your head. And as you exhale, open up. Nice and long, arms front to back. And then as you inhale, big circle. One last time, arms comes down, forward and up, and point up. As you exhale next, coming into the twist, just try to stay there for a couple of breaths. Looking back behind yourself, feeling the rootedness of the feet. And when you exhale, really firm up in the abdominal core. When you inhale, can you get a little taller by pressing into the feet and outward through the crown of the head? And when you're ready to release this, just exhale, release the arm down, little bend in the feet, and then come back to the starting position. You want your legs just a little bit wider than sits bone distance, maybe as wide as the outside of your hips. And this time, left leg's going to go back, right leg's forward. The exact same thing on the other side. So first, make sure that the hips are pointing, starting out, pointing towards the front. Feel the stability of your legs, of your feet. Release the arms down, and as you inhale, you're just bringing the arms to chest height. As you inhale, you're going to bring the right arm up now. Just take that moment you need to feel the length pressing up through the fingertip of the right hand and down through the heel of the left hand. As you exhale, you're going to open up to the right into a twist, and the arms are really long front to back. As you inhale, big circle with the arms. It goes down, front and upward. And as you exhale, big circle back. Feel the twist. As you inhale, just big circle with the arms. As the right arm's pressing upward, the left heel's pressing down. And then as you exhale next, come into your twist. You're just going to hold this for 2 or 3 breaths. So have it nice and thorough in the body. Feel the challenge and just come as far as you can into the twist. As you exhale, you want to feel a firming in your abdominal core. And as you inhale, you want to feel length from the feet up to the crown of the head. And then release on an exhale. The arm comes down. Nice little bend in the knees, and you can step forward and then release the arms. Very nice. So coming into nice wide stance in the legs, 2 or 3 feet distance between right and left leg, arms right to the sides of the body, palms resting on the outside of your thighs. So that as you inhale next, the left arm's going to rise and the left heel rises. And you're just raising the arm up into a little bit of a side bend. And then as you exhale, just release that left heel to the floor and just feel what that does. So that on the next inhale, you're going to come into as much of a side bend as you can. Remember that right hand can be a little brace on the side of your right thigh. Just hold that for a breath. It's on an exhale, though, that you're going to rise up. And the left hand comes back to the side of the body. As you inhale next, the right arm rises up and the right heel rises up. And that you come into just a little bit of a side bend and pause so that when you exhale, right heel comes to the floor. Feel that little internal correction. And then you can, on the inhale, come into as much of a side bend as your body allows. And it's on an exhale with a firm abdominal core that you're going to come up. Just like that, as you inhale, raise the left arm, raise the left heel, coming to a start of the side bend. And then as you exhale, the left heel comes to the floor. And then as you inhale, you're coming into the side bend. Try to keep your body in one plane. So of course you're not coming forward here. You're just doing a pure side bend. And as you exhale, you're rising up. Coming back to the starting position. As you inhale, right arm rises, right heel rises, start of the side bend. And then as you exhale, right heel just goes to the floor, a little movement. And then as you inhale, you're reaching over. And exhaling, coming out. Let's just do that one more time on either side. As you inhale, left arm rises, left heel rises, start of the side bend. As you exhale, left heel comes to the floor. As you inhale, come into as much of a side bend as is accessible to you. Looking up. And as you exhale, coming back to the starting position. And this is the last time. As you inhale, reaching the right arm up over the head and the right heel into the start of a side bend. As you exhale, right heel comes to the floor. And then as you inhale, reach into as much of a side bend as you're able to do. And then exhale, release out. And from here, just put your hands to your hips. Straighten and square the chest and the pelvis to the front. Lovely. Releasing the arms on the exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up into a Y. As you exhale, just bend the knees and sink down. As you inhale, reach back up again, really tall. Release the arms for a moment. As you inhale, reach the arms back up. Big full breaths. As you exhale, bend the knees, sink down nice and evenly. Don't stick your bums out. Just sink down as evenly as you can. As you inhale, reach back up again. As you exhale, release the arms to the sides of the body. And one last time, as you inhale, reach up into a big Y shape with your arms. Separate those fingers. As you exhale, bend the knees and sink down, and hold that for just a breath. And then as you inhale next, reach up, straightening the knees. Exhale, release the arms to the sides of the body. And from here, just check yourself just a little bit. Maybe you'll need to go a little bit wider. We're just going to do a little warrior 2 sequence from here. So when you're ready, you're going to pivot the right toes out and the left heel kicks back. Bring the arms to the front and back position, or side to side position rather. Try to square your heart to the front of the room. And keeping that squareness in the chest, just turn your gaze over to your right fingertips and exhale, sink down into your warrior 2. If you need to make any little adjustments, you can do that now and sink down as low as you can. If you want to take just a couple of in and out positions, that's a lovely way to really set it up, your warrior 2. Next time you breathe into your warrior 2, just hold that for a breath. Feel the left glute, the back gluteal muscle engage as you press into the little toe side of the back foot. As you inhale next, turn the right palm upward and breathe the arm up as the left arm comes down, and you can cradle the back of the hand right into the small of the back and come up as high as you can with that right arm. Some of you might even be able to come into a little bit of a back bend. And as you exhale, coming back into your warrior 2. Check yourself, just make sure the front knee is tracking where it should. And the next time you inhale, start to reach a little bit with the arms and the core strength of the torso. Legs stay where they are. You might be able to set your right elbow onto the right thigh and lift your left arm up. Make sure you're not putting a lot of weight into the elbow or the forearm. You're really just resting it there. If all is well, the next inhale, you can really stretch into a lovely side angle position. Big full breaths here. And then on your next exhale, just windmill that left arm in front and come right back into your warrior 2. And then slowly release as you exhale, turning the toes back to the front. Big full breath at center. Let's go right over to the other side. So the left toes point out to the left, and you'll want to just bring that right heel back a little bit so those right toes point a little bit more towards the front. Come into your warrior 2 as you can. Just in and out a few times. What you're really checking for is your own alignment. So you know what to do by now. You want that front knee tracking over the second or third toe, and you want to really feel strong in the back leg. So it's pressing right into the little toe side of the back foot, and just find that position in your warrior 2. On your next inhale, just turn the front palm upward, and we're going to come into proud warrior. So as you inhale, the left arm comes up, back arm goes down, and maybe you can just cradle the back of your hand on the small of your back, reaching up as high as you can with that left arm, and you might be able to go into a little bit of a back bend. And the next exhale, you just go right back into warrior 2. When you're ready to segue into extended warrior, it's just on an inhale with length in the torso. You start to go forward. The legs stay as they are. it's the arms and the torso that are trying to move into position. Right arm goes up. And remember, as you reach up with the right arm, it can help relieve some of the tendency to plow weight into the lower leg. You don't want to do that, so, or rather the lower arm. And if all is well, next inhale, come into that full side angle position. So really feel the length from that little toe side of the back foot all the way diagonally up the body to the fingers of that upper hand. And when you're ready to come out, just a windmill movement as you exhale, coming back into warrior two. Almost on an exhale that you can release. It can be one movement as the arms come down, toes go back into the center position, and then just start to heel and toe back into Tadasana. Just have a couple of breaths, and then again, just widen your stance a little bit, maybe a foot, 18 inches, the feet away from each other. Place your hands right on your hips. And in this position, what you're trying to do is that the elbows, of course, are pointing out side to side. You're trying to press into the feet and press outward through the crown of the head. And the heart is pointing forward. And just get a sense of this superwoman, superman position. Let the collarbones be broad. Just stay here for a few breaths until you start to feel the deep rootedness of your own strength, of your own presence. And slowly open your eyes or focus your eyes and release the arms to the sides of the body. And from here, we're all going to end up coming back to the floor again. So once you come back to the floor again, go ahead and come all the way down to your backs, nice and slowly with control in the abdominal core. Coming to the floor again, extending the legs out. And then you're going to draw the left thigh in towards the body. Interlock your hands, just as you know how to do above that shin. And then make sure that right leg is staying active so the right toes are pointing up to the ceiling and you feel a lengthening in that right leg and extension. As you exhale next, just encourage that left thigh to come a little closer in towards the body. And just feel the effects of that. As you inhale, you can come away a little bit. It's just a tiny little pulse of movement with breath. But as you exhale, gather the thigh back in towards the body, making sure that right leg doesn't get floppy. It wants to, but just keep it active. Let your breath be long and slow. Lovely. And then the next time you inhale, stretch the leg up and press out through the heel and feel the full stretch of the back of the leg. And then bend the knee and bring it right back to the floor. Nice and slowly, and just enjoy the process. Then bring the right thigh into the body. Interlock your hand just above the right shin. Left leg is active. As you exhale, you're bringing the right thigh a little closer into the body. And just feel as though that left sole of the foot on the extended leg is standing on a surface. And carefully as you exhale, just feel that movement of the thigh coming closer in. And you can release it a little bit as you inhale. Just let your breath be long and slow and really feel those sensations. so that the next time you inhale, you're going to stretch the right leg up now just for a moment and have that full stretch in the right leg from the heel to the sits bone. And then bend the knee and release. Bring both knees in towards the chest. And just give yourself a little hug here. You can just loosely entwine your hands, just however is helpful to keep those knees and thighs close into the body. And when you exhale, maybe a little closer in. Very good. And keeping those knees nice and close in to the body, can you also get them really close together so the inner thighs right beside the knees are touching, and then spread your arms out and turn the palms up and try to get those shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. As you exhale, next, send both knees as if they're glued together over to the right. Just very slowly with control, you're going to see how far they can go. And release as much as you can that left shoulder to the floor. Come into the fullest twist your body will allow. Just have a full, slow breath here. And you want to turn your head to center when you're coming up, and you can release the upper leg first, just coming back into the starting position. Gather the knees a little closer in. Feel that little rounding in the spine. And then again, take the knees just a little bit away, still really close into the thigh, to the chest though, and then make sure that the knees, inner knees, are touching each other as you spread the arms out. We're going to come into a twist on the other side as you're ready on the exhale. So as the knees, they may not come to the floor for you, but what you're trying to do is encourage that right shoulder blade, the right shoulder, to stay close to the floor. And there's where the little tug of war might come into play. If you notice that your right shoulder has really become airborne, you might need to come up onto the feet and raise your knees just a little bit. So try to play with this, explore this, and find the sensation in your own body of just a lovely twist. And just feel the fascia stretching, feel the muscles stretching into this twist. You can let your head turn in the opposite direction of your knees. And when you're ready to come out, remember, you want to make sure you're looking up to center, and then you can remove top leg first on an exhale, coming on back again. And let's have any little soft, gentle movement that would feel good. For me, it really feels good just to pivot on my tailbone, and that might be a lovely movement for you if you want to try it. But anything that feels really good right now for you. Just explore that for just another few seconds. Any little movement. And I invite you to try now just the final pose of today, to either come into a bridge pose or a shoulder stand. And so we do half shoulder stand, and so easiest thing to do, of course, is just, if you're going to do that, is to roll and just catch your hips in your hands. If you do have a brick and you would prefer to do a supported shoulder stand, you can slide that brick right under your tailbone and do your shoulder stand nice and gently this way. If you're doing the shoulder stand without any support, you want to keep your knees bent at first and find your position. Make sure the neck is not restricted in any way. And then you can extend the legs up, pressing out through the balls of the feet. We're going to hold this for 5 to 10 breaths. If you are using the brick, you're still pressing out through the balls of the feet. Nice, long, slow breaths in whichever pose you've chosen. If you've chosen bridge pose, you can also use the brick if you'd like, if you have one, if you want to just be in a really restorative type bridge pose. And so whichever pose you've chosen, when you're ready to come out, remember to come out nice and safely, particularly for those of you who are in the unsupported shoulder stand. Remember, what you want when you're coming out is to bend the knees, and the knees come right towards your own head, and your hands can support your hips. Nice firm core as you set your hips back onto the floor. And let's all come into a Shavasana now. Any little stretch or movement you need is fine, but we're all coming into stillness. And so as you find that lovely stillness, let your body get really heavy and sink to the floor. If you feel any tension in your face or chest or actually anywhere in your body, just consciously try to release that every time you exhale. Just send the tension out with the outgoing breath. And once your body has begun to settle, then really put your attention on your breath. And you're just watching the breath at this stage. At the end of your practice, you're not controlling your breath right now. You're just observing your breathing pattern. So just notice that by witnessing your breath and not trying to do anything to interact or change it, it really is a process where allows you to go deeper and deeper into your relaxation. So feel the effects of this as you just observe your breathing. So if you are coming out of Shavasana now with me, you can just slowly roll over to the side. And then come up nice and gently into the seated posture. Just let yourself come back to verticality nice and slowly. And you're slowly opening your eyes and just allowing that focus to come back into your gaze. And then hands to the heart. Namaste. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.